probably can't see it, but my end fed is going from those trees over there on the left, that tall tree there, to this oak tree back here. Now I'm gonna just show you, give you a little tour of my end fed antenna here. This is a record here of what I did, as much maybe for myself as for anyone else. So, wow, you really can't see it, but right down there, it's kind of a stealth install. I used this black rope and I tied it to this low branch down here where I could just about reach it. Update. Now what I ended up doing, instead of tying it down in that low branch like I originally did, was what you can see here. I drove in a small garden stake and I put some wire around it, and I made sure the wire went through one of the holes just so it wouldn't slip off. And it's kind of driven into the ground at like an angle, so that basically the rope comes straight out from the side, like at a 45-degree angle to the stake. And what it does is it just goes up into the tree, and you can see that in this image here. It just goes up there like it did originally, basically, except instead of being mounted to the tree, it's just mounted to this stake, and the rope just kind of goes up and then over the top through the top of the tree. This is the far end of the end-fed half-wave antenna. And then the rope actually goes up through this tree. And it just kind of like, you can kind of see it now, it just kind of like lays in the upper branches of this tree. I used an antenna launcher that I kind of made. Alright, now unfortunately the original audio for this video was mysteriously cut off, so you have to bear with me here. So basically what I was saying was I used a antenna launcher made of PVC pipe that I kind of I kind of off the cuff, did something with it, based on videos I'd seen or whatever. So anyway, what you're looking at right now is this white rope going toward the dog bone that I made up here. And right here, the white, there's two white things. The white thing on the right is the dog bone, and that dog bone connects the white rope on the right with the antenna wire on the left. And then there's like a little pinch adapter I made. It's like some rubber being, and I pinch it between these two pieces of plastic. It's all this like PVC lumber type stuff. I guess what I was thinking was it's more like an actual plastic dog bone, and I didn't have any on hand, so I made these up. And the antenna wire here is 135 feet long. It's made of 14 gauge wire stranded with orange jacket on it, or orange insulation. I probably should have gone with like a blue. If you could get a light blue, that's even better because it matches in with the sky. Or if you're like in a wooded area, you might want to get green or like a tan color to match in with the trees, depending on what season it is and what the trees do. Looking back here at the oak tree, you can see how well that white rope kind of blends in with the sky. It's pretty hard to see unless you're looking right at it. And that makes the neighbors happy because they don't have to worry about anything like that. Luckily, I don't live in an HOA, so that's pretty good for me. There's a lot of those People complain about those like constantly. Right here there's a maple tree, and unfortunately I had to cut a lot of the better parts of it because it was just growing into the wire. So right here you can see I used a piece of this conduit. It's PVC conduit, and it's like a 90-degree adapter, and it's kind of like a smooth transition going down. Another one of those pinch clamps I was talking about a minute ago. And then there's some rope. This is just like some anchor rope I got at Walmart. Probably not the best rope to use. And it goes to a pulley at the left here, and then down to a weight. And the pulley's kind of suspended from a stronger part of the tree by another rope. It's a black rope. Might be a little hard to see. So what happens is, this is the whole key to the system. The weight pulls on the wire and keeps it under tension. The weight I used just a 15-pound anchor, so it pulls the antenna wire tight. It's not a rigid mounting, so when the wind blows and the two trees kind of blow in different directions and it pulls on that wire, it can pull very hard. It can even in high winds break the wire. This prevents that completely because it has this, it's always 15 pounds of tension on the wire no matter what. Always. And for the pulley, I actually went and got a all stainless pulley from McMaster Car. It was supposed to be lubricated. I got the biggest one they had. It was the one that fit my rope. But it says lifetime lubrication, and well, that's about as much as the words it's written, because I had it up a couple months now, and the thing, it squeaks. You can hear it squeaking in the wind. So the lubrication is basically gone. I might be able to re-lube it. I don't know. Now the reason I got this more expensive pulley, you might be wondering, is because I actually had a pulley fail on me. And when that happens, what it does is the wire gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until eventually something breaks and it comes down. And I actually had that happen once. So that's why I got this pulley. Now looking down here you can see the feed point. And there's of course the unend down there. And you can almost see the black rope going down that holds the pulley. So basically here, I was saying earlier, it's this 90-degree piece of PVC conduit. And it's just a gentle curve for the wire, so it's not under the stress of like a hard 90-degree turn. And you can kind of see this pinch clamp I made. There's like a little piece of black hose in there, like fuel line hose for like a lawnmower. And then the two pieces of PVC kind of clamp down on that. There's a couple of stainless steel screws that hold it all together. The screws are actually threaded into the PVC, and that's kind of a mistake on my part, because they should have actually been machine screws going into some kind of lock nuts or something, because they do seem to strip out, unfortunately. Here you can see the black rope a little bit better. Just kind of grabs that pulley and then goes down. And it goes through this one part of the tree. It's basically the highest point in the tree where there's still fairly thick trunk parts. You can almost see the weight down there too. It's just a regular 15-pound anchor that I got at Walmart. Seems to be about the right weight. Not pulling too tight and jamming up the pulley, and also, you know, so it isn't just like too loose where the wire's hanging down too much. So I don't have a really bowed antenna wire. Here you see the anchor right there. I guess I should say more about my ground and counterpoise on this. There really isn't much to it. I just had it going down to a 8-foot ground rod at the base here, straight from the ground terminal on the unend. I used some coaxial cable. It's like, you know, with the shield and the center conductor soldered together on both ends, just as a RF conductor. It works well that way. A lot of people do that. And you can see I have the coax here across the ground. I actually buried that later. That way the lawnmower can go over it and you don't have to worry about it. And it just goes back into the shack. It's a generic LMR 400 flooded cable. Worked really well. Unfortunately though, there's some moles digging around it, and I hope they didn't take a bite out of it, 'cause they might. Rodents, you know, they love to chew on stuff. Thank you for watching. I hope maybe it gave you a few ideas of something you could do for an end-fed half-wave install of your own. If not, you know, you probably won't end up copying it exactly. This is the Antenna Farmer, and I hope you have a nice day.